You know, we've had a lot of familiar faces on the program. Here's a fresh one. Yeah, brand new fighter for the Chosen Few and for us to be able to cover. He's not brand new to the sport, but hey, we're going to get to all of that as we talk with Cole Williams right now, who is going to be headlining Chosen Few Fighting Championships number 15 right here on 57 Sports and out at the Monona Terrace. And Cole, welcome on in. Nice to meet you. And if you could, we'd love to get our audience to know more about you. Talk about your background, if you could, where you're from, what got you involved with MMA.
Yeah, I actually grew up down in Delavan, Wisconsin. Went out to Iowa for college, wrestled all the way through college, and been fighting professionally for about 12 years now. So currently 10-1. Last 4 fights were all first round finishes, so have a pretty good win streak going and want to keep that path going here in Chosen Few.
Yeah, you have been on a streak, and that's an understatement. It's 8 wins in a row that we are looking at right now. What do you attribute to being so hot? I mean, sometimes a fighter will lose a fight, and then, you know, it's kind of hard to find their way back to the top. But not only are you 8-0, and you got guys that you've been fighting that have really good records along the way. Why are you so hot?
I think it's because I've always worked on my weaknesses. You know, wrestling through college, you have that strong background where people know you're going to take it to the ground and look for that ground and pound finish. But I spent a lot of time working on a lot of other areas, striking, jiu-jitsu, boxing, kickboxing. And I think it was really the wrestling that helped piece my whole game together. So now if I feel I have a superior stand-up, I have that ability to keep it standing, look for finishes there. If I want to take it to the ground and I expose weaknesses with my opponents there, I can do that as well.
How has training been going since you've been training now with the Chosen Few, Jeff?
It's fantastic. Down in Dubuque, Iowa, where I was from, we had a really strong Muay Thai group that I worked with for purely striking. I had a great jiu-jitsu group. So up here, it's an actual MMA gym, and I think it's probably the first time in a very long time where the guys I'm working with, I mean, they're not only studs, but I mean, they're incredible wrestlers, incredible fighters, and it's just helped push me to a whole nother level for my game. So
absolutely,
so that missing piece I haven't had in a long time.
And that's good. And a lot of those guys have had a lot of success. You've had a lot of success as well, but you've also had a bit of a long layoff. You know, it's been a while since anybody's been able to see you fight, over a year now. Why the long layoff? Was that planned or not so much?
Not really planned, but it's just kind of the way it worked out. After my last fight, I had a first round knockout and injured my hand, so I had to take time off from there. But then it was also a career move for me as well. I moved from Dubuque, Iowa up here to Madison. And then for my job, holidays are kind of the busiest time of year. So that kept me tied up until this summer and got, you know, back into training, working with these guys. And this was the first event that they had opening where I could jump in there. So
yeah, the guy that you're fighting is Charlie Brown. It's not the character from the Peanuts comic strip, although that would be awesome if he came in that shirt. You know, what do you know about Charlie Brown?
When I watched a couple of his fights, I think he's a smart fighter. You know, he has pretty decent stand-up. His jiu-jitsu is all right. His wrestling, I think, is the biggest area where I can expose there. But he's a smart fighter. You know, he's been around the game for a while, doesn't expose himself too often. But when I look at my game versus him and where I excel, I think in all aspects, I can determine where I want to finish the fight.
Yeah, and you talk about finishes, 4 straight first-round finishes. Is first-round finish part of the plan? Or do you like to attack early and finish it early?
Yeah, I mean, we don't get paid by the hour in there, so yeah, I'm always looking for the finish. You know, I had a stint on a Bellator reality show where the decision didn't go my way. And ever since then, I was determined I don't want to put it in the hands of the judges. So I really upped my game, and when I get in there, I always look for weaknesses and where I can expose it and capitalize on it. I think I'm a really smart fighter as well. So yeah, definitely looking for that first round finish.
Yeah, you are going to be with a crowd that is really into these fights. It's usually always a sold out, packed show with lots of intensity. What have you heard about the Chosen Few crowds over at the Monona Terrace?
I saw it firsthand. I went to their last show, and it was packed. I mean, I was in the crowd cheering on the team, and shoulder to shoulder. I mean, it was hard just to get from the front to the back. It was incredible. And then on our end too, you know, we're out there selling tickets and stuff, and a lot of it's sold out already. But you know, it just speaks to the crowd that follows these guys. The team I'm with, they work incredibly hard. They're from the area and they have a huge following, and I'm happy to be part of that.
Absolutely, and hopefully they're going to be cheering you on to victory this weekend at the Monona Terrace. Cole, great to meet you, man. Good luck this weekend.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate it.
Brought to you by Conan Automotive, taking care of you by taking care of your family's car.